Have you ever felt stuck between two bad choices? If you're in a really competitive market, I'm sure you're familiar with that pressure to get your audience super excited about what you offer. But you don't want to sound like one of those sleazy businesses that are making wild promises they can't actually keep. You need to make your services sound good enough that people want to buy them, and maybe your offer is that good. And you can actually pull off a guaranteed result? How do you sell yourself without being categorized as a scam? Especially by those leads who have maybe been burned by one of those sort of businesses in the past. In this video, we're going to talk about why some offers make people think that your service is fake. More importantly, I'll show you how to write offers that people trust without lying or making big promises you can't keep. You'll also learn how to make your honest offers beat the flashy fake ones your competitors are using, and why telling the truth about how you work can actually help you get more customers. So if you're tired of feeling like you have to lie to sell your services, let's get started. Here's the thing. Your customers have been burned. Maybe not by you, but by someone like you. They hired some expert who seemed very promising, but they found out later that he couldn't deliver even half of what he promised. So naturally, when they see your offer, they're a lot more apprehensive, like, yeah, right, I've heard this before. So when you write things like, change your business in 7 days or get guaranteed results, they get suspicious. Not because you're lying, but because they've heard those exact words from people who were lying. Want to know some of the fastest ways to make someone think you're a scammer? Use these words: guaranteed, instant, effortless, secret, breakthrough, revolutionary. I'm not saying your service isn't good. Maybe it really is revolutionary. But here's the problem. Every con artist on the internet has used these words so much that they have lost all meaning. When people see them now, they don't think, wow, this must be amazing. They think, here we go again. Same thing with vague promises. Amazing results. Amazing compared to what? Incredible transformation. What kind of transformation? Life-changing system. How exactly will it change their life? These phrases sound like something a used car salesman would say. And nobody trusts used car salesmen. Okay, so what does work? 3 things, really. First, tell people exactly what you're going to do. Not in fancy marketing language, but in plain English. If you're going to review their website and give them a report, say that. If you're going to meet with them 3 times over 6 weeks, say that. People hate surprises when they're spending money. Second, promise stuff you can actually deliver. I know that sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people promise things they have no control over. You can't guarantee someone will make more money. Too many things affect that. But you can guarantee you'll deliver a specific service by a specific date. Third, be honest about what might not work. If your service only works for certain types of businesses, say so. If clients need to put in effort to see results, tell them upfront. This actually makes you a lot more trustworthy. But just because you're trying to be trustworthy does not mean you should be boring at all. Your offer should grab their attention. That's very important. But above being interesting, it is much more important for your offer to be clear and specific. So, in your attempt to jazz things up and make your stuff sound clever, make sure that you're not doing it at the expense of your core message, because clear always beats clever. Instead of, we'll revolutionize your digital presence, say we'll look at your website and tell you the 3 biggest reasons people aren't contacting you. Instead of, our proprietary system delivers unprecedented results, say, we'll spend 2 weeks figuring out what's wrong with your customer process, then give you a step-by-step plan to fix it. See the difference? The second versions tell people exactly what's going to happen. There's no guesswork, no fancy language, just straight talk. Now, I know that sometimes the competition's fake promises can put a lot of pressure on yours, especially if it has to do with things like timelines and deliverables. But just be honest about what you can do. The best brands always say that you should underpromise and overdeliver. And the truth is that many of your clients deep down kind of already know that what those other people are promising is complete BS. They might still hire him because they're desperate, but they're going in with low expectations. When you're upfront about your timeline, you're setting realistic expectations. And when you meet those expectations, your customers are happy. When the 7-day guy doesn't deliver, his customers are furious. Yours is to give them an exact expectation you know you can absolutely crush. It's better to skip all the backlash and bad rep that comes with trying to outpromise the competition. Your honest offer will obviously get fewer people at first, but they come in knowing what to expect since you're setting realistic expectations. And once you meet those expectations, your customers are happy. And so they refer their friends and stick around for other projects. So how do you position your realistic offer when everyone else is making crazy promises? Simple. You can decide to just acknowledge it directly. This can be a much more effective way to differentiate your brand, actually. So instead of pretending that those other offers don't exist, talk about them. Not in a sleazy, condescending way, but just let them know why yours is the better and more practical solution for them. Look, you've probably seen people promising to transform your business overnight. Here's why our approach takes 2 months instead of 2 days and why that's actually better for you. Then explain your reasoning like you're talking to a friend. We spend the first 2 weeks really understanding your business and your customers. Then we spend 2 weeks making changes. Then we spend 2 weeks testing to make sure everything's working. Then we spend 2 weeks fine-tuning based on what we learned. When you break it down like that, it doesn't sound slow. It sounds thorough. It doesn't sound expensive. It sounds valuable. It's not even funny how many businesses fall into the trap of thinking they need to make some wild claims to grab attention. True, you do need something that makes your offer unique, otherwise, it does sound boring. And that's exactly why it works. Think about the last time you hired someone for your business. Did you hire the person making the wildest promises? Or did you hire the person who seemed most competent and trustworthy? Flashy promises attract desperate people looking for magic solutions. You want to avoid those kinds of spammy promises? And learn how to captivate your ideal customer with a message that speaks directly to their exact pain point at the time they're finding your brand. I cover that in another video, links in the description. What about price objections? If I'm honest about how much work is involved, won't people think I'm too expensive? Actually, it's the opposite. When people understand exactly what you're going to do and why it takes that long, they're more likely to see the value. It's like a doctor explaining why your surgery will take 4 hours instead of 1. You don't think, this doctor is too slow. You think, this doctor is being thorough. When customers know exactly what work you'll do and what results they can expect, your price makes sense to them. And what about urgency? You can absolutely make people want to act quickly without being pushy. Real urgency comes from helping people understand what it costs them to wait. Instead of fake deadlines, focus on what their current problems are costing them right now. Every month your customer system has these problems, you're probably losing good customers who could have paid you well. When you build your reputation on honest promises, several things happen over time. First, you attract customers who actually want to solve problems, not just people looking for shortcuts. These customers are more likely to do the work, see results, and tell their friends about you. Second, you avoid the nightmare of constantly having to replace disappointed customers. When your customers know what to expect and you deliver exactly that, they stick around. They become repeat customers. They send you referrals. Third, you build a sustainable business. You don't have to keep making bigger and bigger promises to compete. You can focus on actually getting better at what you do. And finally, and this is the big one, you become known as the person who actually delivers. In a world full of BS artists, being the straight shooter makes you incredibly valuable. Think about your own experience. When you need to hire someone, who do you call? The person who made the biggest promises, or the person you trust to tell you the truth and do good work? The best way to know if your offer sounds trustworthy is to test it with real people. Start by looking at the questions your current customers ask when they're thinking about hiring you or after they sign up. If they're asking, "Is this really possible?" or "How do I know this will work for my business?" your offer might need to be more specific. Use customer feedback and common questions to make your offer better. If people always ask about timing, add that information to your offer. If they want to know what happens if they don't see results, answer that worry up front. Before you spend money on a big campaign, test your offer language with small groups first. Send a version of your offer to a small part of your email list and see how they respond. What you learn will help you make the message better before you invest in bigger marketing efforts. This honest approach needs to show up everywhere, not just in your main offer. Your website should make the same realistic promises. Your emails should have the same straight-talking tone. Everything should reinforce the idea that you're the person who tells the truth and does good work. When someone goes from your ad to your website to your emails to your sales call, they should get the same consistent message. This person is honest, knows what they're doing, and will deliver what they promise. That consistency is what builds trust. And trust is what turns strangers into customers and customers into fans. If you want to make sure your current offers are building trust instead of triggering people as scam detectors, I've put together a simple 5-minute checklist. It's designed specifically for service businesses like yours, and it walks you through the exact things that make offers sound trustworthy versus sketchy. You can use it to look at what you're saying now and spot the places where small changes could make a big difference. The whole point is to help you improve your sales process so you get better results from your marketing, even if the same number of people find you. Because when your offers sound believable and appealing, more of those people actually become paying customers. You can grab the checklist using the link in the description. Use it to review your current offers and figure out what to change first to start building more trust with the people you want to work with. This has been Rita with ClicksandThings.com. See you in the next one.